Good morning to you, Mr. Cleverly. Can you begin by telling us why you've made this decision so soon after you entered the race?
Well, the race to become the next leader of the Conservative Party and the Prime Minister started during recess. And over the last few days, I've been ringing parliamentary colleagues as well as wider members of the Conservative Party. And whilst I've been getting a huge amount of support, it's becoming increasingly clear that I don't think the parliamentary party is ready to make the leap of faith that would require them taking someone who's a relatively new member of parliament like myself and putting them forward to the last two. So unfortunately, and with a heavy heart, I've decided to withdraw from the race.
Do you think the race as it stands, there are too many candidates in the running?
Well, I've always felt that this should be a debate about the future of the Conservative Party and the country, rather than a retrospective of the last 3 years over Brexit. But clearly Brexit has been overshadowing a lot of this debate. I think we do still need to have that debate about the future of the country, and I hope that that will continue. But as I say, I don't feel that I've got the kind of numbers required to have a realistic chance of getting through to the final two.
Is it so that you can have FaceTime?
Who then do you think is best placed to take the country forward as leader of the Conservatives and as Prime Minister? Who will you be backing?
Well, I've spent the time thinking about my own candidacy, some of my own policies and ideas, and I've really not been thinking about other people. I'm going to take a bit of time to look in more detail as to the positions that other candidates are taking. I'm not going to be making any decision just yet. I'm going to give it some thought, because with a decision of this importance, I think that's the right thing to do.
Would you be willing to say who you think is most on the same song sheet as you are?
No, as I say, I'm going to give it some thought. I'm going to give it some time. When I do make a decision, I want to make sure I've really taken in all the positions that people have put forward. So I'm not going to make any decisions or any announcements just yet.
Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about those soundings, though, that you took from the grassroots of the party and how that contributed to your decision not to go ahead.
Well, actually, I was getting a lot of support from the grassroots. I do think that there is an appetite within the party to have a new face, new voice, new agenda. But in order to have that conversation with the wider party, I would need to get through to the final two, and that required asking my parliamentary colleagues to take what I always knew was going to be a big leap of faith. And having spoken to parliamentary colleagues, whilst I've got quite a lot of support from them, as I say, it's become clear to me that I won't realistically have enough to get through to the final two. And therefore, I think the sensible thing for me to do is to withdraw from the competition. I've always been an optimist, but ultimately numbers are numbers, and I didn't have enough numbers.
Obviously, your party leader talking to Donald Trump right here in Downing Street behind where I'm standing now. What advice might you give to whoever the person is who follows her in terms of any future trade talks? Obviously, first of all, the UK has to know what its future relationship with the EU is going to look like. But what advice would you give on trade talks with the United States? Would you have any words of caution?
Well, I think having just announced that I'm going to withdraw from the race to become the leader of the party, I think it would be a little bit inappropriate for me to start suggesting or dictating how the Prime Minister interacts with the President of the United States. But the USA is our closest defence partner, security partner, our largest single trading partner as a nation. I think it's incredibly important that we maintain strong and close relationships with the President of the United States of America, and by extension through him to the country as a whole.
Okay, James Cleverly, thank you very much for your time.